Thank you and welcome to the show for today. The topic this morning is the Metropolitan Council, an update 2011. And of course, we have with us to talk about an update to the Metropolitan Council, Councilman at Large, JMaynard1. And of course, Councilman Maynard, let me welcome you to the show this morning and tell you how delighted we are to have you back for a second time, and to also tell you how privileged we are to have an opportunity to talk to the councilman at large of the metropolitan government, because we understand that as the councilman at large, you should have your hand on the pulse of all of the things that are going on in Nashville. And I'm sure you do. And before we get involved in that, let's talk about your background, education, and some of the things that were important in terms of bringing you to us this morning. And then from that point on, we'll allow you to give us an update and talk about some other things in reference to the council and general information.
Well, Dr. Haynes, first of all, thank you for having me on. This is kind of the seat of the power where you've been doing this for 30 years of information and empowerment. So it's always a pleasure to be here and a privilege to be here and to serving this great community, serving this great nation. I'm just a humble man. You know, I grew up in Indiana, went to Indiana University undergrad and law school, got my law degree, moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. I practiced for the largest law firm up there, representing Fortune 500 companies. From that, I was doing healthcare law and I was doing some other litigation. And I came to Meharry Medical College here in Nashville in order to become the Director of Legal Affairs and Risk Management. And I was involved in healthcare law from that date, 1997, until present. I'm not practicing law right now, but I did that until about 2010. I also was the Director of Legal Affairs or General Counsel for Matthew Walker Comprehensive Health Center. And so I've also done some work, not only in the healthcare, but also in politics. I currently serve as the Chairman of Budget and Finance for the Tennessee Democratic Party. I'm the first person of color to chair that committee. I was elected as an executive committee member for the Tennessee Democratic Party about 5-6 years ago. And so I've been involved as a community activist, and I believe that leadership comes from service. That you don't call out and say, I want to be a leader, but rather you serve the people. And if you serve the people, then the people will appreciate and they will call upon you. And then they will look for leadership from you because of what you've done for the community, not because you feel like you're entitled to leadership. I was elected in 2007 to be a council member at large. I am proud of the fact that the Davidson County residents and citizens and voters gave me the opportunity to serve them as a council member at large. And I'm happy to be here with you to talk about the issues facing our great city.
And as a matter of fact, I think one of the issues facing this city has to do with the economic development and the economic health, in a real sense, of Nashville. And not only Nashville, really Tennessee, and if you want to expand that, we can talk about the economic health of the United States of America in a real sense. But let's talk about Tennessee here.
Sure. In fact, what has happened nationwide, you had 8 years of tax cuts and 8 years of lack of economic growth in our urban centers, lack of economic growth in our rural areas as well throughout the nation, to include Tennessee. We had the housing bubble, as you know. We had the collapse on Wall Street, as you know. And so under President Bush, we had a lot of policies that led to the detriment of our country from an economic perspective. It also impacted Tennessee. And so what happens in Tennessee, we've had to climb out of this recession. We've had to say, what can we do to create jobs? What can we do for economic development? But more importantly, how do we have economic development for all Tennesseans? How can we have economic development for all people of Davidson County and Nashvillians, not just certain parts of the city, not just downtown, but we have to have economic development for all of the city. I've worked extremely hard here in Davidson County to make sure that we have access to jobs, careers, entrepreneurship for all of us, not just certain segments of the community. Belmead's going to be okay.
All right.
We got to make sure that North Nashville, South Nashville, East Nashville, Antioch, we got to make sure that those pockets of Davidson County also have the opportunity to live the American dream.
And of course, economic development not only means the American dream, but it also means that people feel better about themselves in terms of employment and having a job and having opportunities. And I know that that's a real concern that you have.
In fact, we had an economic summit in the Metro Council where we talked about just that fact. It's a spiritual thing. When you are unemployed or when you feel like you don't have hope, you may give up or engage in self-destructive behavior. So many of our children are dropping out of high school because they don't see how a high school diploma will help them in the economy that we're in right now. So they'll say, what? You know, why should I finish high school when it won't help me get a job? It won't help me in my career. And so what we have to do is we have to show them that there are opportunities for you. Don't give up on your high school diploma. Don't give up on your public education or private education, but rather there's some hope, there's some opportunities. And what we have to do is make sure the economic engine is working for everybody. There's some initiatives that we've done on the Metro Council. There's some initiatives we've done working with the mayor, working with the governor in order to make that happen.
And of course, when we come back, we're getting ready for our first commercial break, Councilman. And when we come back, we'll talk about some of those initiatives.
Great.
I think we'll have about 8 minutes to essentially deal with such initiatives, and then we'll have another break, and then we'll have 10 minutes, which will allow you to sort of summarize a lot of other things. And we'll be back with our audience following this short commercial break.